Hello. While we are waiting to get started, if someone could do me a favor and type just hi or tell me where you're from in the chat. So make sure I'm looking in the right place. There. Hey, Joanne. Glad you're here. Perfect. Now I know I'm testing out some new software, new to me software, and been a little bit awkward about where everything is. So just be a little patient with me. Hi, Rosemary. Sorry. Eleanor. Shake my camera. Good stuff. And Penny. Good stuff. Thanks everyone for being here. From Parksville. Hi, Allison. Calgary, Pat. New York. Excellent. Australia. Fun stuff. Okay, so the way this works is more from New York. Cool. You can ask questions at any time. If I miss them, feel free to bump them up again. I will answer questions as I go along. You don't have to wait till the end. If it's not relevant to what we're talking about at that specific spot, please do wait till the end or wait until it is relevant to the slide. After the presentation, there'll be some open question time where you can ask anything you like, as long as it's about your dog. And I'm happy to stay here until we don't have any more questions. So I've been working with leash reactivity for a very long time, and I've kind of been fine-tuning what works, what actually gets results. Because if you're here, you're likely not brand new to training reactivity. Maybe you've done some one-on-one lessons, you might have done some online courses, some in-person group classes, but you shouldn't have to be a professional dog trainer in order to help your own personal dog. And so as I've been teaching and as I've been refining these leash reactivity courses online, I've really been paying attention to the pieces that get people results. What are the pieces of leash reactivity? What are the pieces that we need to know in order for you to help your dog, not just general dog stuff? So I'm hopefully today going to give you some new, fresh ideas, some things to think about, and I'm really hoping some inspiration and motivation to get out there and do stuff with your dog. I'm introducing my roadmap. I'm calling it the PAW roadmap. Prepare the foundation, anticipate surprises, and work the triggers. So I've kind of categorized all the things we need to learn into 3 pieces that'll help us kind of figure out where our gaps are, where our dog's gaps are as we progress. Now, I've met many people who work really, really hard and super committed, but the training seems unbalanced. You might be putting the training too much time into the wrong areas, and they just kind of get stuck. So this is going to help us kind of fluff out things or fill out things and figure out where the gaps are and where our dogs actually need us to put that time. And this plan also allows us to work on stuff that's not always hard. A lot of dog training is hard if you're going out there and working on reactivity. And we want to break that down so that you can do some fun, easy stuff that actually still helps you make progress. And today, my deep dive registration is open, and there is going to be an early sign up bonus. I'm just going to paste the link in the chat. Oh, hey guys. Lots of names I recognize there. You will get an email with this too. You're also, even if you're not planning on signing up for that, stick around. There's no commitment. You are welcome to stay here and ask as many questions as you like. So I've been doing this a long time. If you're struggling with reactivity, I know who you are. I know what it feels like. If you're dreading walking your dog, if the thought of leashing up your dog makes you want to vomit or cry or just go do the dishes or fold laundry instead, that's normal when you're dealing with this stuff. And my goal is to help you feel excited to go work with our dog. Give us a really good plan that makes sense, that you understand, where you know like what you're going to do, what you need to do for your dog. If you feel like you work really hard and getting nowhere, you feel like you've tried it all, the reactive rover classes, there's a lot of online courses, a lot of books. Look at that obedience, maybe even some corrections, or you've sent your dog off to a board and train and they're still reactive. And now you feel like maybe nothing's going to work. Maybe you're stuck here. And you might feel like you're beating your head against the wall, but there is a better way. And I've been in the trenches too. I have had my own reactive dogs, and I've worked with thousands of other reactive dogs with my students. And we have some really cool stuff that we can do now that's going to get you unstuck. And what you're wanting to do is just enjoy walking with your dog. You want to feel connected. I always think, when I see someone walking down the street and you can just see the connection between them and their dog, not that the dog is a robot and just staring at them, but there's a connection there. There's a responsiveness there. That's what we want. We want to feel safe and we want to get results. We don't want to be afraid. We don't want to freeze when there's a trigger. How many times are you afraid to go around the corner, or afraid to go over that hill, or even just to leave your door? And when we feel that way, it's hard to really just enjoy being with our dog. So after the training that we do, my goal is for you to feel confident, in control, like you actually know what the right plan is for your dog. And it's going to be different from everyone else's plan. And not only what the plan is, but how to do it, and how to do it under stress. So you'll feel confident in what you're doing and just stop like throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying all the things, hoping something works. I want you to feel confident that the path you're on is the right path to actually get you some progress. So you might think you need more games or more control or a firmer hand. A lot of people think that they need to be just a little bit harder or a little bit firmer or a little bit stricter with their dog. More rules, more structure, more exercise, or more desensitization or more time. But really, you just want to have fun with your dog. You just want to love your dog and go out and be with your dog. And the plans that are out there often don't work because they're more strict, more recipe based, like do this, then do this, then do this. The out of the box training plans don't necessarily take into account the uniqueness. You're unique, your dog is unique, and your situation is unique. So your goals are unique. So there's no recipe that's going to work for everybody. Everybody's plan needs to be tailored specific to them. Reactivity is a symptom of a problem. And we think about, on the surface, lots of people ask, why is my dog reactive? Is it fear? Is it frustration, guarding, excitement? But those are still just surface reasons. The actual problem is bigger. We need to focus on the connection and the relationship between you and your dog. And we need to know that no matter where you go, your dog can count on you to keep them safe. Your dog can count on you to help them through hard things. And you can also count on your dog to be responsive. So we work on these things away from the triggers. We work on what it is that your dog needs to help them through those reasons for the reactivity, so that you can feel safe when you go out in the world. And what we actually need is to have more fun with our dogs. So we're going to spend a lot of time bonding, creating that connection, trust, and responsiveness between us and our dogs, building the skills and confidence together. Our dogs need skills, but so do we. Our dogs might need confidence, but so do we. And we want to get the muscle memory in both us and our dogs for a bunch of get out of trouble games. So when we see something going sideways, we need to know we can handle that in a way that doesn't damage all that time that we spent building up our relationships with our dogs. So we want to feel safe walking our dog, even maybe have a coffee and have a chat with our friend, and just enjoy being out there with our dogs again. I think of an example with my little Jubilee here. She has a bunch of medical challenges which create pain, and she blamed that. That's my interpretation, is that she blamed the sudden pain on the dogs that she was playing with. She's very fearful of dogs. And when I took her herding, well, before I took her herding, I work a lot on this with her. I work a lot on our relationship, on her knowing that I will keep her safe, and I feel safe that she will respond to me when I ask her to come to me or to perform one of our games that we've been training. I have a lot of confidence in that, but she has the confidence in me. And when I took her herding, the herding instructor stopped me and said, it's really nice to see a person who has such a strong relationship and has such a strong connection with their dog. And that really sunk home for me, because I never really thought about it before then. It's just what I do because I want to feel safe going out there with her. So I needed to put those things in place. And anyways. So who am I? Pardon me. I'm a certified dog behavior consultant with both IAABC and with the Pet Professionals Guild. I've been training dogs I got my first reactive dog almost 30 years ago, and I started volunteering with the kennel clubs and with different rescues at that time. I've helped thousands of dogs through leash reactivity. I've lived with my own reactive dogs, and I can't believe it's been so long. I'm starting to feel old. But before I was a dog trainer, I was a people trainer. I've been teaching people most of my life. If you follow my emails, I think I posted this on Facebook as well. I started teaching by accident when I was 14, when I accidentally signed up for peer tutoring. And I've been teaching people since then. I taught my whole way through high school, my whole way through university. And then later I developed programs and taught programs for adults with disabilities. So I love teaching humans. And that's a big part of being a dog trainer, is helping you understand what it is that we need to do for you and your dog, helping you understand what you need, helping you understand what your dog needs, and then putting that all together. So I'm going to share Maxie's story. Maxie, if you've been around and worked with me in person, you might have had the privilege of meeting her. When I first heard about Max, she was in the animal shelter and she was scheduled to be euthanized. She was there, and it wasn't Max actually that I initially was trying to get out. She was one of 3 dogs, and sorry, my dad's calling. Didn't turn on my do not disturb. I'll call him back after. Maxie wasn't even 2. She was in the shelter with another not quite 2-year-old dog and a 4-month-old puppy. And they were all 3 scheduled to be euthanized. And the animal shelter was fighting giving them back to the owner. They'd been in and out a lot. The owner was not equipped to take care of the 3 dogs. And if you're local, it's not the same people that run the animal shelter now, different organization for our city animal shelter. And I was fighting to get them out because I didn't think it was right to euthanize a 4-month-old puppy and 2 young dogs because they had killed some chickens. For me, that just felt wrong. So the owner had reached out to me and myself and a few of my friends. We worked very hard and we fought to get those 3 dogs out. So the other 2 dogs, the puppy and the other 2-year-old, went off to a husky rescue. And they got placed in wonderful homes and we stayed in contact with them. Did great. Now, Maxie, when I got her home, she was incredibly shut down. She'd been in the shelter for a few weeks. And when I got her home, she was lying in bed between my husband and I getting belly rubs. She was upside down, very cute. And my goal was to transport her the next day down to Border Collie Rescue. And I got the email in that Border Collie Rescue planned to euthanize her. So she stayed. She stayed with us because I just couldn't see that. And then on my very first walk with her, she showed that she was very leash reactive. She was screaming banshee. She was kangarooing at the end of her leash, and the other dog didn't even acknowledge us and was like 200 yards away as she lost her marbles. And I didn't know how to calm her down. And I already knew she had that extreme prey drive and was a rehearsed chicken and suspected deer killer, but I did not know she was going to be leash reactive to dogs. That wasn't part of what I was told when I took her on. And I cried and cried and cried. So before you can understand why it upset me so much, you have to know a little bit more about my history. So prior to Maxie, I had a wonderful little dog, a medium dog named Buck. Buck was at the animal shelter when his person went into housing for abused women. So she had gone into housing, surrendered her dog to the shelter, and they had said, we will do our best. We will find him a home. We will not let him be put down. And that's kind of a promise that they made to this person. And this wouldn't happen today, but I was about 22. And I received a call from them saying, hey, this dog's part American Eskimo. I did Eskimo rescue at the time. Can you take him? He's not doing well. He's vomiting. He's pacing. He won't eat. He's got diarrhea. He's not doing well here. Can you take him? Of course. Yes, I'm 22. I can do anything. So I go and pick him up. He had a huge bite history, both humans and dogs and cats. And I tried everything. If you can think of it, I tried it with this dog. And Buck was a dangerous dog. He attacked the child while I was holding his leash. Out of nowhere, the child did nothing wrong, quote unquote wrong. And the little boy needed 7 stitches in his leg. I had to pry my dog off of the child. And so I reached out to everybody I could. I tried to get help. But it ended up that Buck was okay if I was there, but I had stepchildren and they were teenagers at that time. Their dad was much older than me. I was a very young stepmom. But I lived in a cabin and he escaped twice in 3 weeks. And I thought, man, this could be bad. He could really, really, really hurt somebody. So I euthanized, or had my vet come out and we euthanized Buck. That's my first experience with behavioral euthanasia. I didn't know anybody that had euthanized their dog for behavior. This was before Facebook, and I felt awful. It was so hard. I felt like I really failed him. I felt like I could have done more. I should have done more. I should have done things differently. And I also felt guilty because I was relieved after he was gone. And so for me to go from Buck, then deciding I don't want to do this anymore, I just want to have nice, stable, friendly dogs, to accidentally end up with another leash reactive dog was really, really hard. So that's when Maxie come along. And so I promised her, because I tried everything with Buck and I understood the fallout from using aversives, I looked at this little dog and I promised her that I would never use aversives with her and I would figure out how to help her. And I did. I figured out how to help her. And with time, Maxie became my go-to puppy socializer. She became my go-to helper dog. She ended up going blind at 3 and we had to redo all her training again. She went blind, started going blind at 3, was blind by 4 or 5. We had to do all of her training again. But we figured it out. And I did a lot of learning with her. I did all the courses, all the reading, all the trying of things. And she became a certified therapy dog. We went to seniors' homes. We did the kids camp, the SPCA kids camp. She went into the psychiatric unit at the hospital. She was absolutely phenomenal. We lost her in September, so a year ago. It still hurts. She was a phenomenal, phenomenal dog. Rosemary, aversives are things that cause pain or fear in our dogs. That's a great question. Thank you. So when I say that I would never use aversives, what I mean is that in the past, I have used things like scruffing the dog, yelling at the dog, pinning the dog. This is what we did in the 90s. It was pretty horrid. We used prong collars and choke chains and e-collars. And those things, when we use tools that that scare or hurt our dogs, those are called aversives. And there's fallout. There is always fallout when we use those kinds of devices on our dogs. And after seeing fallout with Buck and with other dogs, I knew that I would never do that again. So I hope that answers that, Rosemary. And Jane, yeah, Maxie was great. I think she helped with your little one too. She helped with so many dogs. Okay, so you might be thinking, you don't have all that time. That's okay. You don't need to have the time that I put into things because that's my job. That's my passion. My job is to figure out how to incorporate training into your day that's going to help you with your dog. So a lot of the training we do is 30 seconds at a time, 1 minute at a time. And we're going to incorporate the training into things you already do with your dog, like when you feed your dog, or when you make yourself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or when you go check the mail. We are going to incorporate your dog training into your everyday life already. I remember a student I had came to me very worried because their last trainer had told them that they would only see progress if they went out every evening for 3 hours and trained their dog for 3 hours every evening. Right? I can't learn for that long. Your dog can't learn for that long. That's not the way to go about it. And this student had a new baby. Like, it's just not going to fit into her life. I have a lot of students with new babies. I love working with people with young kids. And we just really need to figure out how to make the training fit into your life in a way that doesn't make your whole life about training your dog. And the next thing you might be thinking is you've already tried it all. There's just one more program that you won't complete and won't get you anywhere. Trust me, I have so many programs in my and courses and books that I haven't completed. But the cool thing about working with me in these programs is that it's daily feedback. So you just get a little piece at a time. Try this, try that. So you've got little pieces that get you there one little step at a time. It's not like when we do a one-on-one lesson and I might see you for an hour once a week or an hour once a month, and you've got this giant chunk of stuff to go and try to do, and it might be overwhelming or confusing. When we work together on these programs, just tiny little piece, and we're in contact 5 days a week, and it just becomes easy. And if not now, when, right? Like, your dog's only going to rehearse it for longer and longer, and then it's going to take you longer and longer to dig out of that hole. So if you're not tech savvy, that's okay. All you need is a cell phone or a tablet. Take a little video. You can upload it straight to a Facebook group. We'll help you through it. And it's actually pretty easy once you start going. Once you get the hang of it, and once you kind of get over those little hiccups and people cheer you on for doing it, it's a lot of fun. I love our little groups. Okay, so we talked about this a little bit ahead before. We're going to now go over all the different pieces of my roadmap. And this is Veda. She is one of our deep dive founders. And I don't know if Jillian, if you're here, let's go see. I don't know how to tell. Jillian just made a post that she just took Veda out on a 40-minute neighborhood walk very successfully and is anticipating going again on Friday. So happy for them and their progress. As Veda is a big, powerful dog, and she is just doing so well. Oh, you are there, Jillian. Hey, congratulations on your 40-minute walk. And she's so pretty. Okay, so prepare the, oops, here we go. Now I'm getting tangled up in my software. All right, so the prepare the foundation. Is your dog ready to learn? We need to make sure that our dogs are actually at a spot where they can learn. Because sometimes we're living in such a state of chronic stress that it doesn't matter how much time you spend training. Your dog isn't going to learn this. Your dog isn't going to progress because they're not in a spot where they can absorb new information. They're just in a state of survival. And we need to make sure that they are physically ready. Are they in pain? We have to address that first. Are they healthy? Do they have like a UTI or anything? We want to make sure our dog is healthy. Yes, Jane, chronic stress on both sides for sure. Is your dog eating well? Or are you? Are you eating well too? All this applies to you as well. Because there's a huge connection between gut health and anxiety and behavior problems. And so if our dog is unwell physically, if they aren't eating well, then they aren't likely to learn very quickly, no matter how hard we work on it. So when we see that we have problems in these areas, we need to address those first. Hi, Maureen and Ray. Theo and Chili. Yes. Oh, I've got pictures of Theo. I was just looking at today. Are your dogs sleeping well? Are they resting well? And are they decompressing? These are three separate things. Sleep, are they waking up throughout the night to bark or moving around a whole bunch? Are they sleeping well at night? But also, are they resting during the day? A lot of dogs sleep fine at night. They might crash. People say, oh, my dog sleeps great. He crashes at 7 o'clock at night and they don't wake up until 9 in the morning. That's a tired dog. That's not quote unquote normal. That's not healthy. So our dogs should be sleeping well at night, but they also should be sleeping well during the day. Otherwise, they're not likely to be set up to learn, just like the other stuff, just like whether they're healthy or eating well. Decompression. Is our dog able to just chill out, maybe go for a sniff, maybe chew a bone, or are they too stressed to actually decompress? These are things we're going to look at to make sure our dogs are ready to learn before we ask them to do calculus. They just need to be set up well first. An appropriate exercise for our dogs. If we have a young border collie, a young hound dog, they're going to need a lot more exercise than, say, my 10-year-old American Eskimo dog. He needs a fair bit of exercise, but in short bursts. Some dogs are going to need longer duration of low intensity exercise. Some need some tug or some high intensity exercise. The appropriate exercise for your dog is not necessarily the same as appropriate exercise for your other dog or for your friend's dog or for anyone else's dog. We need to make sure that we're taking care of the dog that we have and what they need. How's your relationship with your dog? If we are frustrated and there's a lot of tension between us and our dog, it's going to be hard to learn to that connection. We need to work on that. So part of what we'll do is learn how to play with our dogs, learn different ways to bond with our dogs, and how to communicate with our dogs. There's so many different things we can do in this realm. This is one of my most favorite pieces to teach, is how to actually just bond with your dog and have fun and repair that damage when we don't feel safe with our dogs out there, when there's a lot of tension and you're like, oh, why can't they just do this? Or why can't they just learn this? Or why can't I just learn this? Why can't we figure this out? There can be a lot of frustration and tension and stuff that's inhibiting our relationship with our dog. And we really need to have that strengthened so that we can go out there and do stuff together with that really good connection. Maureen says, our dogs are crated and sleep well at night and have a 3 to 4 hour nap in their crates every day. Yeah, the crating and day naps have made so much difference and they love it. Yeah, your dogs were, I think quite alert. So they maybe weren't sleeping well because they were always on guard, waiting to protect the house from the next murderer or watching to see what the brother was going to do next. And sometimes I don't think all dogs need to be crated, but for some dogs, it's just a complete relief for them. And it's how they can actually really rest. So depends on our dog. And then the last part is, are you ready to learn? So you matter too. Like, it's not just about your dog. You matter. Your comfort level matter, your needs matter, and this is your journey with your dog and where your goals matter. So a lot of this whole thing comes together to prepare a foundation that we can rely on for our dogs. Part of this, we're going to have a whole bunch of games. We're going to have confidence building games, resiliency building games, impulse control games. Arousal management is a big one. So a lot of dogs that are reactive have no trouble getting excited. But can we also calm them down? Sometimes we spend all of our time learning how to calm them down and forget that arousal management also means we need to increase arousal sometimes. So teaching games that allow us and our dogs to practice get excited, calm down, get excited, calm down. That is a critical part to addressing any kind of reactivity, especially leash reactivity. Problem-solving skills, and again, that relationship and bonding, can't overstate that. All that together helps us develop this like home base. So if we have a bad day or we need a break, we have this spot to return to. We cannot do any of the scary stuff, any of the hard stuff. We can come back to this place and work on these games that will help us progress. It will help us with our leash reactivity, but we need this safe foundation, safe home base to come back to. Yes, you had to use the crates to protect Chili from Theona's vigilant behavior. Yeah, when we have resource guarding in the house, we definitely want to make sure everybody can safely rest. I love those little guys. This is Pepper. I don't think Michelle is here. Pepper is also one of our Deep Dive founding members. And what I love about Pepper is that Michelle did such a good job with these games that she was able to play these games out in different areas in the yard and out and about so that Pepper could feel safe and have nice a home base outside of the home too. She could have this really safe place where she could go out in the world practicing these games, even though there might have been scary things nearby. Home base can be anywhere. So it doesn't have to be in your house. It's more of a state. So we can start it with a limited place in the house. We can then move it to the whole house, and we can take it out on the road. Home base is basically a place where our dog feels safe, feels confident, and can play our games with us. And where you feel safe and feel confident that you can take your dog safely without worrying about reactions. The A in the paw roadmap is anticipate surprises. This is also very, very important. We're going to see Veda here again. So the world is not set up for our dogs. And staying under threshold all the time is ideal. Yes, absolutely. We would love it if our dogs never went over threshold. Not realistic. Your dogs will have occasional reactions. But what we need is management and get out of trouble games. Games to help us walk by triggers and to help avoid them. Games to interrupt reactions. So if we have a surprise trigger come by and we don't catch it in time and our dog starts to get huffy and puffy and reactive, we need ways to positively interrupt those reactions. And we need to practice those until they become muscle memory. And the games, what those games are going to vary by dog. So the games for a 15-pound dog versus a 100-pound dog are going to look very different. Hi, Charlie. And the games for like a big, confident, big bruiser versus a very sensitive, shy dog are also going to be very different. And one thing, if you haven't listened to them already, I have a bunch of clients, student success stories on my podcasts. I've got 3 out and 1 more that'll be out in a couple of days. And one of them is Jillian and Veda, and they can hang out on their deck now playing one of our games that will interrupt or get out of trouble. So before, they used to worry about hanging out on the deck because people would walk by and dogs would walk by, and it's a really protective place. Like, you know, she's a guard type dog and she wants to protect her deck. But now we've put these management and get out of trouble games in place. So it's easy to hang out there because it's easy for Jillian to say, hey, none of your beeswax, and move the dog away from that. And so we don't get the reactions. But take a listen to the podcast because it's gone over in more detail there. And it is okay if your dog has an occasional reaction. If your dog has an occasional reaction, I mean, we don't want reaction after reaction after reaction. That means we're overfacing our dog. But on occasion, that's part of the process. We just need a plan to help them through it, how to help them recover from it. And if we've worked on that resiliency, your dogs can bounce back no problem. And we've got that all muscle memory for us and our dogs. So the games just kick in. We don't have to worry about it. Where would I recommend I find games? Well, we do a bunch of them in the deep dive. You can also check out my free online reactivity group. Check that out. There's games, lots of games in there. And yeah, or shoot me a message. You'll see if I can help you out. Really, the right games for your dog depend on who your dog is. So it depends on what your dog needs, because the games like for Veda here versus Little Pepper on the last slide, totally different. Books. Also, I would recommend, if you want to read books on any of this stuff, anything by losing my mind. I'll send them in the link, an email. But I have 3 basic books that I recommend all the time. Is The Other End of the Leash, Culture Clash, and Don't Shoot the Dog. 3 of my favorite authors, 3 of my favorite books. Really great books to help kind of work through some of this stuff. So the next part, the W of the PAW roadmap, is work the triggers. So we've laid our home base. We have that foundation. And then, just a second, and then we've worked on all those management games, anticipating the surprises. Now we're ready to do the hard stuff, to work the triggers. If we come to working the triggers first, before we have all that stuff in place, we might not progress, and we can actually make things worse because our dogs might not have the resiliency or might not have the skills to get out of trouble if we get overwhelmed or if we get over threshold. Right. Oh, Rosemary, yes, your dog, you have a 3-year-old dog, and she spent most of her life on a chain, so she was like a puppy. This dog was the cutest thing I've ever seen. When she saw ants, she was 3-year-old dog creeping up on ants like a baby puppy might be. Oh, yes. So take your time with her. For her, I would go through my puppy group. I have a Puppy Foundations Facebook group, and I would do all the things in there, treating her just like she's a baby puppy, even though she's a full-size dog. And Joanne says, we went for a walk in a small park that is an island today. You're only dogs on the whole island, and it was surreal with no triggers. Best day ever, yeah, for your little Shiva. Kathy Fraser asked me to repeat the 3 books: Don't Shoot the Dog, The Other End of the Leash, and Culture Clash. Those are my 3 foundation training books that I recommend everyone read. If you love dogs, if you have a dog, if you like dogs, if you know a dog, those are fantastic books. If someone shoots me a message, I will remember to send out an email with the 3 of them in it. So this little guy here on this slide, this is Rain. His success story is coming out in a few days on the 27th. I recommend you check it out because this little fella went from very, very reactive to able to go anywhere. He can actually go to the park now and the boardwalk and everywhere where there are lots of things. And he was, we were very good at getting all those foundation pieces in first. And then we set some goals. Planning is an important part of working the triggers. What is our goal? Is our goal to be able to pass a dog on the other side of the street? Is our goal to be able to sit near a bench and watch people with strollers walk by? What are our goals? We need short-term goals, things that we can achieve in the next week or two, medium-term goals, and then our big long-term goals. If we only focus on the long-term goals, it's easy to get discouraged. I really like setting some really short-term goals. Maybe I'd like my dog to be able to sit before going out the door and maybe sit on the other side of the door as well when we go outside. Help regulate that arousal before we go on our walk. That might be a good short or even medium-term goal for some dogs. But it's important for our progress. It's important for our mental state to set those goals so that we can say, hey, look what I did. And then we get a little hit of dopamine and we can set new goals. Kathy's asking recommendations of specific games for 100-pound, socially frustrated, reactive 5-year-old teenage pup. It's hard for me to recommend specific games, Kathy, without having more details. I mean, I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm not too sure where he's sitting right now, but do shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you out with that. That's something definitely we could do in the deep dive if you're interested in joining that. But shoot me a message and we can set up a call and chat about him, okay? When we work in the triggers, once we've set those goals and once we have a plan and we've got all of that other stuff in place so that you have something to fall back on if things go sideways, your comfort level is going to be better. And so we're going to be able to set goals that get you out there in a way that helps you still feel safe. I'm not going to send you to the park if you're afraid to go out your front door. We have to pick goals to get you out there that make sense for you and make sense for your dog. It's not just your dog and it's not just you. We have to set goals that make sense for both of you and then go from there. So you matter too. It's not just about your dog. And we want our dogs to see the world. You know, that's where the magic is. They need to see it, not just hide from it. We need our dogs to look at the triggers, but not fixate on them. We need them to be able to get used to the triggers and learn how to be safe and to be calm and to be confident near the triggers, not just asking them to ignore things and not look at them. Back in the 90s, it was all management. It was like, watch me, don't look at the trigger, look at me. And we did a lot of stuff like that where we told our dogs, okay, our dog doesn't like men in hats. Our dog is not allowed to look at men in hats. But we don't always see them coming first. So we couldn't just say, this is just a life now. That sounds stressful. My goal for a dog who's afraid of men in hats is for them to be okay and to feel safe near men in hats. Maybe men in hats aren't ever going to pick up my dog, but I want to feel safe that we can walk by them. Or if we're walking, one can come around the corner. My dog will feel safe and keep their cool. And I want to feel safe that if a man walks around the corner, that we're going to stay in control. When we're working the triggers, there's a lot of games. Okay, so many different games. There's desensitizing games, counter conditioning games, alternate behaviors. So instead of lunge, you maybe sit or hop up on something. The goal is for you to know when to play each game, why we play each game, and how to play each game. Because it's not as simple as reward your dog for looking at the thing. Well, you might accidentally train your dog to stare and fixate at the thing. That's the opposite of what we want to do. You have to know, what does each game do for your dog's arousal? When is the right time to play it? Why are we playing it at that time? And what are the actual mechanics of the game? We want to, all the games, all the desensitization or counter conditioning games, we want to play them in a way that actually changes how our dogs feel and changes them from being reactive or fixating on things to being calm and able to think and do other things around the triggers. And we put all that together. We put all those three pieces together. We've got our foundation. We know what to do if a surprise happens, and we have the skills to actually work the triggers. That's when it comes together. Our dogs become connected and responsive. They're better at handling their emotions. We're better at handling our emotions, and we're ready for stuff to happen. Instead of avoiding people, we start kind of following people around. We always joke that we go from avoiders to stalkers. Don't actually stalk people, okay? But we become confident and playful. We become better listeners, and we understand what we need and what our dog needs in the moment. And it just brings some energy and motivation, and all that stuff comes together, and our dog feels that. And that's when the learning really happens, when we have all those pieces together in a way that makes sense for our dog and in a way that makes sense for us. So I can help you. You do not have to do this alone. I've got the link to my deep dive there. That'll come out in an email as well. I can help you feel connected with your dog and feel like your dog hears you even when things are stressful. And feel like, not that we're controlling our dog, but feel that we're in control. Like you can trust your dog, you can trust your training. And so your dog knows that they can trust you too. The deep dive, this is Rebel. She's another one of our founding members. The deep dive is an 8-week coaching and training program. It's specific to help you and your dog work together for leash reactivity. Every plan is specific to each member. We've got all the proven strategies, the ones I've been using for my own dogs, as well as for thousands of clients. It's personalized guidance. So I'm going to give you feedback. If you submit videos, I'm going to give you a video reply. If you submit a written question, I'll reply by text as well. And it's weekly live sessions combined with that each have instruction plus individualized coaching. People say they learn more from the coaching of other students than they do from their own individualized coaching, because you don't even know what questions you have until you hear other people going through the similar stuff. And you get consistent progress because we're there daily. I'm not asking you to do this giant thing. I'm asking you to do this little thing. And then maybe tomorrow it's this little thing and this little thing. And before you know it, we have gone that far, but it's one little step at a time. It's a very supportive community. I absolutely love that the people in my deep dives have asked me to create an alumni group so that they can stay connected with each other. It's wonderful. It was really one of the nicest things I think I've done in my training career. And all of this helps you just have that stronger bond with your dog. You get trust, communication, confidence, and you can rest assured that like you're doing things right. It's all positive. It's all built on bonding with your dog, not built on pain or frustrating or scaring your dogs. So for instance, in 4 weeks, you might have a really strong, solid starting point and know which skills you need to work on in order to progress. There won't be any confusion. You'll be like, okay, this is what I'm working on. This is what my dog needs right now. In 8 weeks, when the program ends, you will understand how to modify your plan based on what your dog needs. And you'll have some skills and you'll be out there in the world, whatever that means for you and your dog, but you'll be out there doing stuff, out there making progress. We're not going to be hiding at home, out there having fun. And the investment for that is $8.49 Canadian for the 8 weeks. We have our first session is like an intro, get to know each other. And then we have 8 more weekly coaching sessions where we talk about different things, 7 different modules that we will go over together that show different games and different techniques and different things based on helping us set up those other skills that we talked about. And there's a 48-hour bonus. So if you sign up for the deep dive by midnight on the 26th, that's 2 days from now, Friday, you get a free 45-minute private video session with me. And that's a great way, if we don't know each other, that's a great way for us to get to know each other and really get going and dig in and jumpstart your progress. Or you can use it during the 8 weeks anytime. If you're getting stuck on something and you just want some really targeted one-on-one time together, or you can use it near the end of the 8 weeks to nail down what are you going to do when the program ends? What are your next steps? That 45-minute private session does need to be used within the 8 weeks, but you can use it whenever you want, whenever makes sense for you in that time. So this is Kieran. This is a great little dog. He was pretty much feral when I met him. His person did an amazing job. He's actually out now competing in Canicross. Just phenomenal. I can't believe he went from borderline feral, couldn't be touched, was afraid of his own person, and now he's out there doing Canicross at events with lots of dogs. Super cool. Okay, so frequent questions are, does it matter if you're new to dog training? No, we will tailor it to you and your level. I have so many different video lessons to help you learn all the mechanics and all the games and all the lingo. Will you be bored if you're advanced? Nope, we will tailor it to you. Jane, though, live sessions are in person. So they are Zoom, and we start it up and we all show up. I usually instruct first, and then we do individualized coaching. Sometimes I might swap that around and do individualized coaching and then instruct a session, but it's all in person and live. If you can't make it, it is recorded and you can watch it later. And if you can't make it, you can also submit your questions ahead of time, but you can also just type your questions or do a video of your questions in the group at any time, and I'll answer those daily as well. How much do you have to participate? Well, that's totally up to you. But honestly, anybody who shows up, I've seen incredible progress. If you just show up and you participate as much as you can, the more you participate, 2 minutes a day, the more you'll progress. And that's my promise to you. If you show up, I will show up with you and we'll get there. Do I have to attend the weekly sessions live? No, absolutely not. But it's really nice to see face-to-face and to have a chat. Good, I'm glad you got a few ideas. This is run via Facebook. Yes, at this time, no, it has to be done via Facebook. The next one I'm launching, I'm thinking of doing in a different platform, but for now, that's where we're at. Alrighty. Does anyone have any other questions? I will grab a link here while I wait, see if anyone is typing. Jane asks, so if we want to show you a dog's behavior, we would send you a video. Yes, you would just post a video in the group, and then I will reply to the video. Absolutely. And my goal is, as I give you homework, you video your sessions, and then we can work through that. Anything you want to show me that your dog is doing, we would absolutely, you can share a video of that. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, a video must be worth 100,000. Kim, I'm so glad. I hope you join again too. Being here has made you excited to do another round with Rebs. I love your progress with Rebel. She is doing so well. Jane, there's pretty cool. If you have a big coffee mug, I'll show you. Even like a regular size coffee mug with some stuff in it, you can just lean your phone up against it. So we can show you how to do that. You can play with it. Trust me, we have seen all kinds of stuff. Some people start with very interesting camera mechanics, and by the end of the 8 weeks, everyone's a pro. Just like anything else, practice makes better. And so it comes. It's a little awkward at first, 100%, if you're not used to it, but it does get easier. Looking for that link that I wanted to share. You're welcome, Phyllis. Here's that link again. I will send that out in an email. But if there are no further questions, I will wrap it up here. If you just think of something or didn't get to it before we turn off here, just shoot me an email. Happy to chat. And yeah, thank you all for joining me.